Hello, how are you all?
Good.
Good. Ashwell's not posh. It's shithole. Anyway, that's not a joke, that's just a fact. How's everyone doing? Everyone well? Good. There's some great comedians on tonight, and then there's me. Fair warning. I feel very out of place here. Not been this nervous for 10 minutes in a room full of total strangers since I lost my virginity. And much like losing my virginity, I'm probably going to finish early and disappoint everyone in the room. No, it's been good. This is a bit nervous for me. It's been a while since I did comedy. Just got back into it, and then lockdown happened. So that was a kicker. I did spend my lockdown working on my comedy though, because the last gig I did before lockdown, I did horribly, alright? I bombed, basically, I did really badly. So I thought, I'd spend a year learning how to deal with bombing and all that. Only problem is, after spending a year Googling bombing so much, my Alexa thinks I'm part of ISIS. And when I go on holiday, I'm no longer allowed to fly. But no, my partner at the time, she was worried when we got the Alexa, because she was worried about it spying on us. But for me, having been with her for 6 years, it was just nice to have a woman listen to me for a change. So I say my partner at the time. Unfortunately, during lockdown, she actually broke up with me, which was nice. Been together 6 years, engaged. One of the reasons she told me that she broke up with me was because I wasn't working at the time, and she told me every time she came home I was too much like an excited puppy to see her. Which, I was just happy to see her. I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't have pissed on the floor every time. I was just excited. But no, she told me the other reason she broke up with me is I asked too many stupid questions. That was the main reason. I asked too many stupid questions. But as a comedian, that's just how my brain works. All right, I just have these stupid thoughts. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. She made me go to the pharmacy because, like I said, I wasn't working. So one day she made me go to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription for her. So I was waiting in line because no matter what time you go to the pharmacy, there is always a queue of elderly ladies who, despite getting the same repeat prescription for 15 years, remember none of it. They're all just stood there going, "What does that one do? And what about that? What about that one? No, that's not right. I have what in my lungs?" So I'm waiting there and I see this sign that says, "The responsible pharmacist is," and then a name. So it says, "The responsible pharmacist is Brian." Okay? So most people would just see that and go, "Oh, pharmacist's name is Brian, move on with my life." Couldn't give a shit. My head goes, here's a sign I want to see. "The responsible pharmacist is Brian. The irresponsible pharmacist is in the back of his face on all the amazing pills that you've got here." So then naturally I go home and I go, "You're not going to believe this, honey, but there is a pharmacist stealing medication, and that's why the elderly people aren't remembering their prescriptions." And she goes, "Oh my God, what are you basing this on?" And I was like, "I'm glad you asked, come with me on this one, alright? I am basing this on a sign that I made up based on a sign that I saw whilst I was waiting." And then I realised what I say, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'll help you pack your stuff into the suitcase, go on, just go on." But no, the other thing as well in lockdown is I discovered the joys of binge watching TV shows. Anyone else binge watch a series in lockdown? What did you binge watch? What was your favourite?
Kardashians.
You all said yes, and then I asked what you want, and you're like, "Oh, fuck, I want to know." No, for me, mine was the X-Files. I discovered the X-Files, and I loved that. And when it was over, I was really upset. I really wanted that show to come back, but then I realised I couldn't make it nowadays. because it was such a product of its time. The X-Files was the epitome of the 90s, you know? Conspiracy theories weren't that big, like they weren't that mainstream at the time. So Mulder would come in and be like, oh my god, the government, they're covering up the aliens, and people would be like, you crazy bastard. Nowadays they'd be like, he'd be like, oh, the government are covering up the aliens, and they're like, yeah, they're also turning frogs gay for some reason, so whatever. It's just a thing. But the other thing is as well, nowadays you couldn't have one of the best TV characters of all time, who, I don't know how much you know about the X-Files, but there's a character in that called the Cigarette Smoking Man. Possibly. He's just an old, ominous man that sits in the corner of all these secret meetings, chain smoking cigarettes. You know, gives off a very eerie vibe. But you couldn't have that nowadays, because smoking's not a big thing, it's not popular anymore. You'd have to have the vaping guy. It's not got quite the same ring to it, has it? There's nothing ominous about a man standing in the corner of a room slowly making it smell like raspberries. Everyone would be really confused, being like, are you the bad guy or a Glade plug-in? What the heck is that? But no, now that me and my partner have broken up, I can do a lot more stuff that I couldn't do before. Like I can go out drinking again. Whenever I say that, people always go, oh, why didn't you go out drinking with her? And because the truth is, it was a fucking nightmare. Because I would spend all my time looking after her, alright? Because she's one of those people that thinks she can handle her alcohol, but she couldn't. She's got what I like to call the Oscar Pistorius drinking style, alright? And what I mean by that is if I gave her 2 shots, you'd find her crawling along the bathroom floor begging for help. Thank you. I think I found the level. Problem is, she'd have terrible ideas when she was drinking. That was her problem, because I remember one time she went out to her friend's birthday party and she came home the next day absolutely ruined, and I was like, what the fuck has happened? And she goes, oh well, you know, I just got way too drunk at the pre-drinks. I was like, how'd you get too drunk at the pre-drinks? And she went, well, we decided to make fishbowl cocktails, but we didn't have most of the ingredients, so we just replaced the ones we didn't have with vodka. Which is a stupid fucking idea and wouldn't work with any other sort of, you know, recipe technique ever. You wouldn't watch MasterChef, would you? And there'd be someone on there going, for his main course, Gregory is making a pan-seared duck leg with a wet red wine jus. But Gregory has forgotten most of those ingredients and replaced them all with special brew. Camera just pans to Greg Wallace, who's off his face, giving it 2 thumbs up, hoping the next cunt's made a doner kebab. But no, the thing is, I'm single now, I'm 28 years old. I was on Tinder the other day talking to someone, and it was all going really well until I found out that she had pet rats. Yeah, rats aren't pet, are they? Rats are one of those few animals that when I see one driving, they actively speed up to try and hit it. There's not many of them, you know, it's just rats, pigeons, children, you know. Just the germy ones. No, actually, I'm a very safe and responsible driver. Whenever I drive through a school zone, I make sure I drive nice and slowly. It's just because it makes it easier to masturbate. Took it too far. But no, I'm 28 and single, and everyone I know is having babies, and it upsets me, not because I think I should be having babies, but because every time someone I know has a baby, they ask me the same question, which is, do you want to come and see the baby? Despite what I just said. Very brave of them. But no, they always ask me, and my answer's always the same. Is the baby doing new material? Last time I saw your baby, it did 10 minutes lying on its back, and then for the closer it shit itself. That needs work, that's what I'm saying. So you go and they ask, you know, eventually they'll ask, do you want to hold the baby? And it's not like they're offering you a sandwich, you can't be like, no thanks, I held a baby before I got there, I'm fine. So you have to hold the baby. I always hold the baby the same way, which is how, you know, like how Rafiki presents Simba in The Lion King. This is fucking awkward. I wish you had offered me a sandwich. But no, the reason I don't like going to see other people's babies is because if I wanted to see something lying flat on its back, looking confused, not knowing who I am or how it got there, I'd go and see my elderly father next time he has a fall. That was just for me. It's not just babies I don't like. It's most people. I mean, I don't mean to sound like I hate people, I just don't understand how human beings got to the top of the food chain. Human beings getting to the top of the food chain is like a charity symbol, you know, like a novelty charity. You know, like when the Crazy Frog got to the top of the charts? Like, human beings getting to the top of the food chain, no one knows how it got there. They don't deserve to be there at this point. We don't know how much longer we're going to be there for. But no, the problem is humans think they're the apex predator, and really we're not. And I can prove that. You know when you go to the zoo and you see the tigers, there's that big sheet of glass in front of the tigers. That's not there because we're the apex predator. There's no one in the zoo going, thank God that glass is there, otherwise I'll fuck that tiger up. I imagine those tigers are looking at us the way we look at people that got the job we wanted, even though they're not qualified. Just like, oh, this fucker. Look at him, he can't fucking run. What else have I got? Alright, I'm going to leave with this. You know, a recent survey, they found that 84% of women would not object to having pictures of them taken during sex. 84% of women. However, in a very similar survey that I conducted, 100% of women would object to buying a copy of that picture and a keyring on the way out. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I've been Jack Squires. It's good to be back. Thank you. Good night.